Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and as you can see, I've got my truck back. Now, the saga of me spending $80,000 on a truck and having it already have a transmission issue has been a hot topic on the channel. It's got over 2 million views across the last few videos talking about this issue, and that comes with 10,000 comments or 20,000 comments. And I've been reading all those comments and processing what the feedback people are giving me. And in today's video, I want to give my final thoughts on what happened here with my transmission. I also want to talk about the market for buying a truck in 2022 and going into 2023, because I've been to all the local dealerships and looked at what's available and what is not available for trucks, and what the pricing is going to be, what the wait time is going to be, what's available in the used market. We're going to look at some for sale by owner listings and just go through the state of affairs for anyone who is looking for a truck to do serious hauling in this economy. So let's jump into it. We are going to start with the new truck market and then work back towards the older trucks. And this is the second Dodge dealership that I visited today, because the first one didn't have a single Ram truck on the lot. All right, this is a surprise. There are a few Ram trucks on the lot. Not finding that at most dealerships. Let's see what we've got here. Used. We've got a used 1500 here, another used 1500, a 3500. I figured the odds of seeing a 3500 on a lot were pretty slim. So, surprise, surprise. I'm getting ready to tell you the answer, but try to take a guess what you think this truck is listed for with 20,000 miles on it. It is 2 years old. It's got some scratches on the body. It's got scratches in the bed, so it's been used as a work truck. It's a tradesman's model with the plasticky looking hubcaps, cloth seats, base features, but it is a 3500 single rear wheel for $65,000. Now, I don't consider this to be any of my business, because if the person can afford it, then that's their prerogative. But I think this truck is guilty of what I'm accused of, which is wasting a bunch of money on flashy stuff that doesn't make the truck useful. This is a half-ton truck that was special ordered for $98,000. And I don't see any purpose behind it but showing off, or I guess hot rodding off-road. But at $98,000, are you really doing a lot of that? For anyone who's watching this that is new to my channel, just keep in mind, I haul a skid loader, I pull a dump trailer. Half-ton truck does me no good. But it has some relevance to the market, and maybe some of you guys are looking for that. So I'm about to show you the 3 new trucks on the Chevy lot. They are all half-ton trucks. This one is $83,000 for a half-ton. Costs the same as mine, and I couldn't do anything with it. The next one is $56,000, I believe, for more of a base model half-ton truck. And the third one is, I think, $75,000 or $76,000 for a half-ton. Actually, the third one is $74,000 as I watch this back. And they had one used 3/4 ton truck on the lot. In 6 dealerships today, I did not find a single 1-ton truck. Not just that there were none in their inventory, they didn't even have one within their dealer network that they could get for me. So let's look at this used 3/4 ton. This would be one of the alternatives that a lot of people recommended. It's a Duramax with an Allison transmission. And of course, this is dirt cheap, right? 2019, is this 40-some thousand miles?
Yes.
Like 47,000 miles for $60,000. So, of course, Ford will be the real winner here. They're going to have a bunch of well-built, affordable trucks. Obviously, that's a joke. Not only did neither of the dealerships that I went to have a single 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck, neither of them had one available in their dealer network. There was one truck that was being held that was like 3 hours away, and it was like a 2017 model. So you're not getting anything late model or low mileage from Ford. As a matter of fact, they're not even taking orders for trucks right now. Absolute minimum to get an F-250 or an F-350 new is a year. You can't even order it until November. So if I wanted to buy a new truck right now that is either a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton diesel, the only option I was given is to take and put my name onto a Silverado 2500 that's already been ordered that could be here within a month or so. And I would just have to take what I get in terms of features, and it was listed for $89,000. So what I paid is pretty much in line with the market, and there's very limited availability of new trucks. Last new truck I want to show you is the real winner of the day here. This is a 1/2 ton electric truck. The F-150 Lightning Platinum Edition with an MSRP of $95,000. Salesman told me they've had multiple offers of $120,000. They're not allowed to sell it for another month or two, and they're expecting to put a $30,000 markup on it and get $125,000 for this electric truck that can't haul much, and if it could haul, doesn't have much range. But he was real excited to tell me it was pretty quick off the line. So we have established that the new truck market is ridiculous. So let's do what I did when I was looking at mine and go for trucks that are in the late model range, but have enough miles and enough age on them that we can get them at a reasonable price and see what we come up with. So we're looking at diesel trucks in my area. First one is a 2006, so that is a 16-year-old truck with 203,000 miles on it for $22,000. I have a hard time with that. I know diesel trucks can be reliable, but 200,000 miles, and it's still pretty expensive. Then we've got a $68,000 truck with 30,000 miles, an $86,000 used truck with 15,000 miles. Here we go again, almost $30,000 for another 3/4 ton truck with 200,000 miles. Here's a Ram 1500, really high mileage at a reasonable price, I guess. $26,000 for an 8-year-old work truck with 175,000 miles. I'm really not seeing any bargains here. If you're spending $25,000 to $30,000 on a truck that's got 200,000 miles on it, it doesn't feel like a cheap work truck. It feels like someone's already gotten most of the juice out of this. And there is some truth in the fact that you could buy one of these for $25,000 and put a lot of money into repairing it as needed and still be ahead of what I spent. But you're going to expect some downtime. And maybe this is the way to go. But I don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling looking at the numbers on the screen right now. So as we go through this, I want you guys to tell me which option looks the best to you. $80,000 for a luxury new truck. Option 2, We have these $30,000, $25,000, $20,000 trucks with really high mileage on them. Or option 3 we haven't got to yet. Before we move on to the older trucks, I want to wrap up the point about my new truck. Number 1, as far as justifying the price, it replaces 2 vehicles. Because I've got 5 kids, with a couple of them being teenagers, and 5 grandkids. And this is our family vacation vehicle. So, if you're buying that cheap truck, you're not taking the grandkids to Disney in it. So, you're replacing 2 trucks buying one of these. As far as Dodge having transmission problems, I'm not going to try to answer that question. There are a million people on the forums saying that they've been driving Dodge trucks forever and don't have a problem. There are people having problem with their Ford trucks and their Chevy trucks. I do think maybe Dodge does have a little bit more transmission problems than the other manufacturers. But I'm on my 5th Dodge truck, and the first 3 had 0 problems. The 4th one I pushed pretty hard to its limits, and it failed at 100,000 miles. And this Ram truck that I have right now had a physical mistake that someone made during the assembly process that caused a seal to fail. And I can't really say that's some kind of repetitive Dodge problem. Now, that being said, if Ford was willing to sell me a truck, I'd probably buy one right now, but they aren't. And the last comment on new trucks or used trucks, I've got thousands of comments telling me to buy a Toyota truck. I understand that maybe the people leaving those comments don't really haul, but Toyota can have the world's best reputation for reliable trucks, but they don't make a heavy-duty truck. They have taken themselves out of the market by not offering anything bigger than a half-ton with a 10,000-pound tow capacity, which does me absolutely no good other than going to get groceries from time to time. The next category I want to talk about is your significantly older, higher mileage, although in this case it's not higher mileage, but much older trucks that are coming in a lot cheaper. And I introduced this truck, which my friend Paul has up for sale, for $10,000. And I'm interested in this truck. But I think there's a little bit of revisionist history and a little bit of nostalgia going on with the people talking about these trucks. And I'm not an expert on it, so I'm just going to give some thoughts. And keep in mind that I honestly think the best way to go is to have 1, if not 2, older trucks like this one. But that doesn't make it a perfect option. And this is obviously a single cab. It's got some rust on it. It's got a bunch of check engine lights and a check throttle sensor light. It's hard to shift, might need a clutch. It's a little rough. And it needs tires because they're dry rotted. And the tow rating is half of mine, and it's still $10,000. And it also requires you to have cash up front. So here are the specs I was able to find on this engine that's in this truck, which is a 1996 model with a 6.5 liter diesel engine. I'm not even certain that these numbers are accurate because I found a few different variations and was having a hard time getting anything that was definitively the answer. But you're looking at around 200 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. Now let's compare that to my new Ram truck, which puts out 370 horsepower and 850 foot-pounds of torque. So this engine has about twice the power of the engine in the truck that you guys are all so fond of. And one version I've heard on why you can no longer buy a standard transmission is that they're having trouble getting a standard transmission that can handle the 800 to 1100 foot-pounds of torque coming out of the modern diesel engines. Now, the fact remains that if the truck's not reliable and it's broke down all the time and it costs a fortune, it doesn't matter how many foot-pounds of torque you have. But I went ahead and I went through the comments section and I looked up some trucks that other people were telling me were a lot better than my truck. Somebody was telling me how much better their 2004 GMC Sierra was. Well, it's got less horsepower, it's got significantly less torque, and it rated to tow 12,000 pounds rather than the 20,000 pounds mine is rated for. Now, if it's still running 18 years later, then that's impressive, but just pointing out a difference in the numbers. And on this second screen, you can see that you're still getting just over half of the foot-pounds of torque my truck puts out. I've referenced that number a couple times, and I'm completely aware that's not the most important thing, but it is something that I can look up and compare. Someone else was telling me 1989 F-250 was still kicking it for them, and they only paid $12,000. And I got that same price. And let's see if I've got that information here. Yeah, 200 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque. Might have been a great truck. I'd buy one today if I could find a deal. And here's some information on the 7.3 liter Power Stroke. Once again, not putting out anywhere near the power. The trucks were lighter back then, and it's just not an apples to apples comparison. So we kind of took the long way around and just looked at what trucks are going for. And you can get some cheaper trucks right now on Marketplace from individuals. I'm seeing trucks $10,000 to $15,000 or $10,000 to $15,000, 200,000 miles on them. So that's better than what I was seeing buying them online. And it's pretty tempting to buy a truck in the $10,000 range. And I would say if there's one thing I definitively know, it's that if you have an older truck that runs good, don't let go of it for anything. Because if you try to replace it, you never know what you're going to get. And you may not find something as dependable. Now, that being said, question of the day. My $83,000 Ram that's already broke down on me once. Would I buy it again? I would not choose it again. I mean, I couldn't. That truck is awesome. I love that truck. But I would rather have an F-350. But you can't buy a new F-350. If you want a used one, you're going to pay $70,000 for it, or it's going to have a lot of miles on it. So if I was buying another new truck today, I guess I'd buy the same thing because you can't get anything else. And I didn't have $25,000 or $30,000 to go pay cash for something. So it is what it is. But what am I going to do right now? I'm going to keep that truck until something happens with the market and pricing changes, or I use up all my warranty. And even as much as I drive, I've got at least 2.5 years that's still under a full warranty. I've paid for the warranty. I might as well use it up. And I wonder on some of these trucks when people are telling me that they don't have any problems with their 04. What was it? Denali. They don't have any trouble with their 04 Denali. I wonder if they haul 15,000 pounds twice a week, or if they just haul every once in a while with the 5,000-6,000 pounds. That's the real question. If you haul every day or 2 or 3 times a week heavy, then let me know what you're pulling it with, because I'm impressed. And The other reason I'm willing to spend that, there's a couple. For one, I'm making money with the truck. So it's not like buying a Corvette. You're only trying to impress someone with that car. I mean, any random car out there is fast enough. What do you need to go faster for? With the truck, you can earn a living with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. So that justifies spending more on it, whether that's one new truck or two older ones. But the last thing is, buying a new truck like that's a big tax write-off. If you're making a bunch of money in a self-employed or small business situation, you need tax write-offs. Because you got all that money coming in, you need to show the government that it's not all profit. It's not all straight in your pocket, because it's not. So that's the other thing people aren't thinking of when they see me spend $80,000 on a truck. It's not the same as a toy. It's a business expense. It's tax write-off. So it's been a long, rambly thing. I had no interest in this channel becoming a Let's Talk About Trucks channel, because it's not my thing. But it's what's going on in my life right now. Gave it a lot of thought, made 3 or 4 videos about it, and now I'm out. I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.